Alright, guys, welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Battlefield. I'm your host, Echo Limits. This is episode 18. We're calling this one Competitive and Unlocks. And with me today, I have my boy Izzy.
How's it going, everybody? My name's Izzy. If you want to check out my YouTube channel, it's youtube.com/IzzyGoneCrazy.
Okay, and with me today, I also have Flakfire.
Hey everyone, it's Flakfire. If you want to check me out on YouTube, youtube.com/FlakfireGaming and twitch.tv/Flakfire.
Awesome. And today we have a special guest. Our thoughts and prayers are out with Mambo. He lives in Miami, and it's crazy over there with Hurricane Irma, right? That's what they're calling that one?
Yep.
Yeah.
And so today with me, I have a special guest, Ascend Daz.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Send Daz. I also stream here on Twitch, twitch.tv/Daz. Well, I won't be able to replace Mambo. Hopefully, I'll be able to bring some good stuff to the discussion today.
No, I think it's really awesome that you joined us today, really. First of all, you are a Battlefield stream team member, and that's huge and prestigious, especially in this Battlefield community. But you are the first non-console, I guess, just PC-centered content creator we've had on this podcast, and can't wait to talk to you about what you think about Battlefield versus the console space. All right, as it is customary with this podcast, we each of us here chose a topic, and I'm gonna run you guys through the topics before we get straight into it, just to explain to you guys listening for the first time, maybe watching for the first time, how the podcast works. So the topics today are going to be number one, unlock requirement ideas for future assignments. This is spurred on by the fact that we just got our brand new DLC. At least the premium members got the brand new DLC, and there's a lot of things to unlock. Some people feel good about certain ones, some people don't, so that's one. Flak chose to talk about impressions of Incursions, and if you have not personally sat there, if you're watching this live, you need to go watch Flak's video. Seriously, he put up a video gameplay and his thoughts on it, and today he's gonna share some more.
Looks awesome.
Right?
It's awesome.
It looks cool, Flag. Then Izzy wants to talk about, will the next Battlefield be bigger than BF1? Is that even possible? And Daz, being that he's a PC Battlefield legend, actually, wait, Daz, what's your rank as a sniper on PC? Please tell the audience.
Actually, have the most sniper kills across all platforms. Technically, granted, I don't play console, but I have the most sniper kills in the world. So I keep busy.
That's awesome, man. So he wants to talk about balancing PC and console separately. And that's an interesting thought, since CTE now is on console and also on PC. So those are our four topics. And of course, at the end of the podcast, what we do is an open chat session with you guys. We also read out emails. We've gotten a few. That being said, if you're listening to this as a recording, you won't be able to join in a live segment question. You can always send us emails at theletstalkpodcast@gmail.com, and we will try to read them off over here and hopefully respond to you guys as best as we can. Now we are also there was one more other thing I want to say. Of course, if you're watching on iTunes, of course, please rate us. You know, that does help our discoverability and people find Let's Talk Battlefield. That being said, I think we can jump straight into it. First topic. All right. The first topic actually is by me, and I want to talk about unlock requirement ideas, guys, and your thoughts, gentlemen. Have you guys unlocked any of the new weapons?
Yes.
Yeah,
I definitely have.
I have unlocked the SMG-08 and one of the shotguns so far.
All right, awesome. Any
I haven't had much time to
favorites
play.
when it comes to like things you had to do to unlock? Because I don't know, I get a lot of people coming into my stream and they're saying like, man, this one's hard, or this one's, is it worth to unlock? You know, that's the question really most people want to know. Is how do you guys feel about the way they make you unlock things?
I like it. I like that some are a little more challenging than others. None of them are impossible by any means. I mean, some might be a little bit of a grind, but I mean, anybody with any experience won't have a hugely difficult time unlocking the new weapons or completing the new assignments. But I like they make you work for them at least a little bit instead of just giving them to you. It gives you something to do in the game. If anything, I think they should make them harder.
Yeah,
Harder.
there's
Harder than shooting down two planes with LMGs.
Yeah. How about 20?
I don't know how well that would go over, but no, like I like the challenges. Like a lot of the times on YouTube, the comments are like, "This game is dead. There's nothing to do," and then like Dice goes and does this, and it's like, okay, to get these weapons, you have to do these challenges, and then everybody's like, "No, I paid for these weapons. You know, like I just want to use them." And like for a lot of people, I feel like there's no satisfying them, but
Yeah.
you know, like
You know-
I really enjoy it. Like I think it's fun. It forces me to pick up things that maybe I wouldn't do normally, like learn an appreciation for some of the weapons that are out there. Like before that stupid MP18 headshot assignment for the
Oh.
Ruby rolls in They Shall Not Pass, I was like, what is the point of this gun? Like this gun is terrible, whatever. And now it's actually like one of my favorite weapons after I used it for that, because I realized how much easier it was to target the head with that gun. Compared to something like the MP18, trench, because there's, differences in muzzle flash and like other things. And for whatever reason, it just seems easier to make those more higher skill shots using the one with the optical sight on it. But had that assignment not been there, I would have never known. Like, I would have had no idea. And, there are things that I don't like about some of the current assignments, like blow up tanks with the AT mines is one of them for the SMG 0818.
How many do you have to get with those mines? I think 20, right?
No, just 5.
Oh my god, not even 5. Just
And
that's weird.
That took me a few games to do, and it was a little bit more difficult because I was playing on the new maps and there aren't tanks on every map. Like on Galicia, there's only
Right.
artillery trucks. Same thing goes for
Wait,
Brusilov.
do they not count as a tank kill?
Nope.
Are you serious?
Yep. As far as I know, they do not count as a tank kill. I might be wrong on that, but I blew one up before and it did not count.
You know what's interesting is one of the unlocks says you have to get, I think, experimental kills, 15 experimental kills with the scout. And I tried to game it too. I was like, well, what if I slot in the K bullet and get the K bullet kill from it, but it didn't count. And I was like, well, this is interesting. But wow, it's to go as far, or even to have the ability in the game to like differentiate between killing an armored vehicle versus killing an actual tank, maybe. That's interesting. Daz, what do you feel about the unlocks?
I actually, to circle back with what Izzy was saying, is that I agree that they should be a lot more difficult. There are some of them that are, maybe we keep in mind the balancing, like the Mosin sniper rifle. You have to get 15 of the trip mine kills. Well, the game is balanced where it only does 70 damage, and now you have a reduction with more damage, what makes it a little bit unfun to obtain. Now, maybe getting increasing the number, let's say, of amount of kills, maybe to like, okay, get something ridiculous like 500 kills. Well, okay, the skilled players are going to get it fast, and then the casual players will have something to grind for. But when you have those tripwire kills, my gosh, the only way to get them is like, okay, well, let's all hop in a server of unlimited tripwire kills and do them together. Otherwise, it just feels unfun. It feels like you're really forcing it.
See, that's one of those things. Like, the reason I want to talk about this conversation is I want to know, like, at what point do people get discouraged? Like you said, that is a little discouraging, but I personally did not get discouraged about it. I'm just going to keep grinding it. But I wonder, I'm not the regular kind of Battlefield player, Like, I feel like there's a massive Battlefield player base who probably would just be like, man, either I don't have the time, or this isn't fun, or they'll start asking, like, guys like us on YouTube comments or on Twitch chat, they'll be like, well, is this gun worth the grind? Because if we tell them, like, hey man, you gotta get this gun, this is amazing, maybe they'll like sit there and actually try to grind these out. But it'd be a shame for them to go to boosted servers where it's tripwire kills only, just to unlock something. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think people are willing to grind for it, right? I mean, look at how popular MMOs still are, or games like Destiny are. I don't think people have a problem with grinding. It just needs to be enjoyable, and the reward needs to be worth it.
Like what Flakfire said
on the nail, man. It has
like
to be
Flakfire
enjoyable.
said, I discovered this new gun. I discovered how good it is. But, during that grind, it kind of taught you how to headshot. Make sure that it's balanced so then it is fun, or it favors to the sniper. Maybe a suggestion would be to DICE, hey, the Mosin is a great sniper rifle. Instead of the tripwire, why don't you get a certain number of headshots so you're prepared when you use the gun or something? Something like that. Something a little more interesting.
Well, and one, everybody's hating on the MG-1417 assignment for shooting down airplanes, but literally, before that assignment came out, I was the only one who would ever shoot at an airplane from the ground. Literally the only one. Like, everybody would look at it and be like, oh, there's nothing I can do. And it's like, yes, there is. Just
shoot it.
Shoot it, please. Like, if we work together, we can actually take this thing down. And now you're actually starting to see that in some of the games, at least for a little bit, until it completely dies off again once everybody unlocks it. But it's at least nice to see that. And it's kind of a way everybody was complaining about the lack of AA, or that planes are overpowered, or this or that. And it's like, I think they found that they're a little bit more empowered against those aircraft through this assignment, than they were before. And I think that's good.
That's like the two things I really like about the way they implemented unlocks is I like the fact that they make you play new things that you might not thought they're fun. Most of the time, that's okay. Like Flack said, discovering a gun you had no idea about, and that could be great. I do like that they do that. The real big thing that caught me off guard was the way they set up these unlocks. For instance, for the perks guys, I know they don't do this for the guns themselves. You have to do 2 things to unlock a gun and there's no chance. But for the perks, first of all, in order to initiate the perk unlock, there are, I believe, 5 things, and you have to get 3 of them. And then you can now start getting, is it 4?
I think it's 4, because one of them is something you can only do with the premium stuff. Okay. So the idea is that
it's 4 and get 3 out of 4, and then you can now work on your perks.
It's 4 out of 5. There were 5 things to do, I think.
There are 5 of them, but you had to do 3.
There were 3.
Yeah, I had to do 3 because I recently just did it.
Yeah, so if that 5th one is premium only, then that means it's just additional. So for a non-premium person, but then again, how would you even have this DLC? Oh, you probably just bought the DLC on its own.
But does anybody really do that?
Some people do. I get people coming in my stream saying, yeah, I'm just buying the DLC. I'm like, okay. Very strange, but sure. What I was getting at is when you get to the part where you start unlocking perks, it'll be like 7 assignments sometimes, or 8. I'm not 100% sure how many. But they'll say you can do 7 out of 8 or 6 out of 7. So there could be like one there that you're like, I don't really know if I'm gonna get 5 elites killed with K bullets. You know what I mean? But you technically don't have to do that. And that's interesting. And I think DICE, when it comes to unlocks, the best idea you've probably had is this whole topic. Because maybe make it more friendlier. If you feel like too many people are complaining that things are too hard to unlock, look, make 5 requirements and require only 3 to make the unlock possible.
That's smart. That's pretty smart. So then people can choose to play a certain way, Maybe somebody likes a sniper shield, but somebody may not want it and prefers to do the 300 headshots, in comparison.
Right. So
yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Make some that are like hard to do and highly skilled, like 5 kills on an elite with K bullets. That's gonna be really hard to pull off. But in lieu of that, make the other one 500 kills with, I don't know, one of the lesser popular sniper rifles, like the Russian sniper, I don't know.
Yeah. That's actually a really good idea. So either way, no matter if you just naturally keep playing or if you're slow getting it, then naturally you're going to get it sooner or later. So somebody says, well, it took me forever, but you know what? Just keep grinding. You're going to get it sooner or later. Don't worry. Like, it'll happen.
Yeah, so I really like that idea. That's one of the best things. Now, I want to challenge you guys sitting here. I want to know, if you were DICE, what kind of an unlock would you think of? I mean, I've heard things on Twitter. Somebody said, kill a blimp with a Calibri. Would you guys really do that?
I could just imagine, like, 30 people on a blimp shooting it with the Calibri.
You got something like Doom 49. Everyone's shooting.
Yeah. So I want to ask you guys here on the panel, just what kind of unlocks would you give DICE an idea of? Like, what do you think should be an unlock in future DLC?
One of the interesting things, and I don't know, like this is just something that it's one of those things that I found out about while I was randomly goofing around in the game, and I'm like, why don't more people know about this? And I keep putting it in the back of my mind to make a video about it. But whenever you're fighting the behemoth, the airship behemoth specifically, the heavy machine guns on maps like do some serious damage to them. So like that would be a neat one. Like use the heavy machine gun to destroy an airship behemoth. Like, and people would use that, be like, wow, like I don't need an AA gun to do that.
Yeah.
I can just use the heavy machine gun. Like there are more of them located on the map, and blah blah blah. But it would be a neat thing for people to learn. Oh, like this can actually damage that. So even though I'm a scout, like I could go and run up to this emplacement and use it and actually chip in and help my team. Like that would be cool.
I mean, it would definitely encourage people to use it.
And it also teaches them something brand new about the game. I like that idea. Daz, do you have any ideas for unlocks?
I have one that I'm surprised DICE hasn't put in. It seems like it would be your go-to. We all push PTFO. Why not, like, especially for like the scout class, get a certain number of kills while on the objective? We don't see that enough. Honestly, out of all the things that we've seen, we do not see one of them that says be on the objective while doing this. We get arm the objective, capture the objective. But what about getting kills on the objective?
It's also like we do, like it tracks that in game, right? Like you get like flag defense, like that's built into the game to track. So yeah, I don't know why.
And then that's a great one too. Encourages PTFO. I love it. Izzy, any ideas for unlocks?
Yeah, I wrote one down. Okay, ready?
You did? No, I gotta get this.
It's called the Super Soldier Assignment. To unlock a new medic weapon. In a game, you have to get 100 kills, 50 revives, and 50 heals in one game.
That's some next level stuff. I don't think Prophet on Fire can
do
that.
Possible?
But he's like super medic.
No kidding.
I've done it. It's possible.
Wow.
What gun am I getting for doing this, man?
The Automatica.
Something. Cool.
I'm gonna get the M16. I mean, it's tough. I don't know, man. You know what? If DICE went the route of like those 5 things and that's one of the 5 things, I wouldn't care. That'd be kind of cool. And maybe if you did one of those harder things to do, like to unlock something, maybe you should get like a special badge or something. Like, whoa, you unlocked this weapon, but you didn't unlock it the easy way, so you don't get the easy camo. Maybe, bro, I just off the top of the dome, right here, right now, guys. Suppose you had to unlock a weapon. You just unlock it and it has no skin on it. Kind of lame. But if you unlocked it, say there are 5 things, and if you did the 3 hardest things, maybe you get an elite skin with it.
No, I'm all for more customization options. So it's like if you put that carrot on a stick out there, you bet I'm gonna go do those more difficult stuff.
Yo, and maybe like you choose to track which ones you want to, and then like this way it would give an elite player, like someone who's really good, something to really chase, and they'll get that gun and they'll have an elite skin to go with it. But if you're like, man, I understand there's people who play Battlefield just super casually, just hanging out. If you're one of them, maybe you're watching this too, just, man, I don't want to do all this crazy nonsense. Maybe we'll make 3 requirements that are like easier, less stressful.
But it's not as rare.
Yeah, but you get a skin that's gonna be a common skin. Like they already have common skins and distinguished skins and elite skins. Why not give one away with the unlock?
That's a cool idea.
That'd be pretty cool. Like a golden gun or something, something
like
that really stands
cool.
out. Like it really stands out. You see somebody shot, oh man, was that a golden skin? Was that the Super Soldier Izzy?
Golden Super Soldier, yo, I like that idea, Izzy. Awesome, man. I mean, I'm like fresh out of ideas on this topic, really, because these unlocks either frustrated me or were just like, it's not so bad. But for the most part, I wasn't too frustrated because I really like the steps that DICE has took to make it better. If I was to make an unlock, it'll probably be like, I don't know, have some trolliness to it. I don't mind the troll ones. Like let's take a flare gun and get like 5 kills with the flare gun.
Or you could do a whole assignment like that. kills with the flare gun, the syringe, something
Yeah.
like that.
You know,
Give
Yeah,
me
I
a
don't
skin
know.
for the flare
gas
gun.
mask. Do the gas
Yeah.
mask kill.
I've never done that. I've heard it's possible.
It is possible.
It's
And then give
very
you.
difficult to
I'm like on
do.
the theme of gold, but then give me a golden gas mask,
Oh my god.
Because you got a gas mask kill. That'd be crazy.
That would be insane. But I think that's an awesome discussion on this topic. We're gonna slide over to the next one. Guys, if they're going to implement new unlocks, which 100% I'm sure we'll see in the new DLC and whatever else is coming out, hopefully they think of fun ideas and also they range it for the elite player to get something really cool with that unlock. The person who's willing to put in all that time and loves the game as much as that, and also consider the casual, because there's a lot of casuals who play Battlefield and they still want the guns. It's just I don't know if they're gonna spend the time to do all these crazy nonsense. Alright, awesome. We're gonna shift over to the next topic. This one was brought to you by Flakfire. It says impressions of Incursions. My good sir, take it away.
Yeah, so Incursions, the embargo has finally lifted, so I get to actually talk about
time.
the most fun thing that we all got to do at Gamescom. Literally, all of us were there for In the Name of the Tsar. It's like, oh, we get to play these other maps. We get to try out, the Perino and this other stuff. We got to play on Tsaritsyn and all this other stuff. And it's like, after we went through Incursions, we were like, well, tell me more about Incursions. Can I play again? Like we all had one time slot for Incursions, and literally we all just waited around until someone didn't show up so we could go through and do it again. It was super duper fun. But if you guys are watching and you're not familiar with Incursions, that is Battlefield's answer to what is competitive Battlefield. So basically it's 5v5 on really small maps. The first one is like a really small part of Giant Shadow. Basically, it doesn't play like Giant Shadow in any way, shape, or form, which is probably good news to most of you, because as far as I know, not very many people like that map. But for the Incursions mode, it works very, very well. And you guys might be thinking, oh, it's just 5v5, so it's like a small version of Domination, and it's really nothing like that. So went and actually did videos today kind of explaining how everything works. It's a class or kit-based type of system where we got to play one of 5 different kits at Gamescom, and they had different ones available. I only got to play 3 because I only managed to sneak into 3 play sessions. But all of those kits have different guns, different abilities, and these abilities are not things that you're used to in core Battlefield. So there's a kit that's called a Trench Surgeon, and he's basically the medic. And he's got the ability to revive people. He's the only person that can, which is important. And you can only pick, there's only one of them available at a time. So after you pick a class, nobody else can pick it. But he's equipped with a sniper shield, and you're like, what the heck? Why does it get a sniper shield? And it turns out
I was confused by that.
It's super useful because it can block doorways. It can be used like a sniper shield, but it also does area of effect healing.
I don't understand that one. How come just a sniper shield, you deploying a sniper shield, does area effective healing? Why didn't they just put a big med pack in there?
Because you're able to walk through the med packs, and so I think they wanted it to be able to block doorways so it could be used more strategically.
So when you say block doorway, you can't vault over it?
You might be able to. We didn't test that because we were busy actually playing, but it's something that certainly you have to, it's going to slow you down in some way, shape, or form, I think, which is the whole idea. And I noticed when I was playing in the tank that it'll actually stop the tank. The tank has to do this number to get over it. It doesn't just charge through it, which was kind of surprising. So it can be used in that way as well. But I don't think a lot of that stuff has been finalized in terms of what's in the game. They might build a special medic crate that does those kinds of things. I don't know, but it was a great deal of fun. And so it's class-based stuff. It's got flavors of Rainbow Six Siege in there and Overwatch in there. A lot of people were on the fence about this, but there are vehicles in competitive, only one at a time per side, and only one player can use the vehicle, and that's the battle mechanic.
Can other players get inside one
Nope,
to hide, maybe?
nope.
So
only
how
the battle
strong
mechanic.
are the vehicles? Like how hard are they to take out?
They're not hard to take out.
Okay.
They're
So
really
are you
not
saying
hard.
maybe their armor is adjusted rather than the base game? It's a little less.
I feel like the time to kill was faster in Incursions. I don't know. I asked them, and I didn't really get a good answer on that, but I assume it probably was. But the tanks were pretty easy to take out, especially when you take into account that there was an AT gun on each team's side, and I used that thing to destroy tanks quite
I've
quite
seen
effectively.
It in your video. It was very effective, like 2 shots them or something.
Yeah, and it seems that they really improved the what's the good term where you can individually damage parts of the vehicles.
Like,
like
crit
you could-
spots.
Yeah, really target the tracks and knock the tracks out, disable the tank. You can
So
hit
there's
the
critical
engine.
hit spots again that like do significant damage.
I don't know if they do significant damage in that regard, but it impacts the tank performance. So
Okay.
like you hit the engine, it's not going anywhere. You hit a track, it's not going anywhere.
So
Um,
I watched your gameplay flag for that whole round you posted on your YouTube channel. I also posted the YouTube channel to the chat. If you guys have not checked it out, you should. The one thing I've noticed is, can you change loadouts, packages for the tank, or was it just one package?
It was just one package. There's also an interesting mechanic about incursions that as you play and as you score points doing squad or class specific stuff, you unlock new abilities as you go along. So with the battle mechanic, like your tank, once you get to level 3, it now has a secondary canister weapon that it didn't have before. So it's kind of like the stakes get higher as the game goes on because people get better, people unlock new things, like the AT assault. When they throw an AT grenade, it explodes, and it also has the effect of an incendiary grenade, which is like pretty neat because once you hit that level and you're going after a tank, like you can't rep the tank from the inside. You have to get out, manually do it yourself.
So
Thank
yeah, they
God.
took that out, right? I
Yeah.
saw that in your video that you can't rep from inside. Very
Yeah.
interesting.
I like
but there's no, like, from when I look at the light tank, I think the flanker tank is the best, right? Most people love that one against infantry, and this is a very infantry mode. So they restrict the flanker tank. You can't use it, right?
No, you cannot use it. It's only the one with the regular gun on it. But once you hit level 3 or rank 2, sorry, because there's passive rank 1 and then rank 2. Once you hit rank 2, a battle mechanic, you can choose the armored car with the upgraded flanker tank cannon on it.
How hard is it to go through these ranks? Speaking of which, do you find that it's going to be difficult for somebody new to be competitive? Like, or does it hold
I
you
don't
back?
think so. It was easy for me to do. I don't think there was a single game where I didn't reach rank 3, like either by halftime or shortly after.
Okay.
So I don't. They might balance that a little bit more, but talking about the vehicles there, Echo was kind of surprised. It's like, no, you can't have the flanker tank. It's just kind of an armored car.
Yeah, and I've noticed the other thing about, and I saw it in your YouTube comments, is that the armored car, you drive and shoot at the same time.
Yep, and that's new. So that's something that you can't do in base Battlefield 1. And I did like a little preview of things, and I was serious when I said, like, forget everything you think you know about Battlefield 1, because like this stuff just doesn't work the same. Like,
But,
once
I mean, I think that's a good thing though. It
Yeah.
makes it feel like its own thing.
It does. And the thing is here too, and I said it in the video where I did not think that DICE would step that far out of the box. I thought they were going to do, it's like it's dumbed down domination kind of thing, and it's like I didn't
That's
think
what
they
I
were
was
going to
assuming.
develop, actual like really unique kits and have interplay between the different kits. and have things do things that you would expect to see in competitive. And they actually went and did that. Like, having this sniper shield where it's like, it's kind of hokey because the sniper shield doesn't heal anybody. You can't hit someone with it and they're magically better. But the mechanic works in the game. And it works in a way that's predictable and useful and that you can form strategies around. So that's like the most important part of competitive stuff. I didn't think they were going to do it, so I was really surprised when they actually went ahead and did it. And it was tons of fun. And, there was opportunities, like you look at it, like if you take a step back, once you understand the mode, once you play it, and I think for a lot of people that are on the fence about it, once you actually play it, you'll be like, now I get it. It works. But once you take a step back and look at it, you're like, there is space for strategy. For those competitive teams who want to develop, those plans or those tactics or, like that kind of stuff. It's extremely hard to do that in, like Conquest Battlefield, because things are just insane. Like, there's too many variables to account for. Anybody could be carrying really anything. Like, you don't know.
Well, that was one of those arguments I've had with Battlefield games where you run up on a sniper and you're not sure. All of a sudden, in Battlefield 4, he has a carbine and you get smoked. It's kind of a bad feeling, and I like that. But I found this two things that kind of was like, the weapon choices for some of the kits and how they mixed it up. I seen them, like, a lot of the automatic weapons were really being replaced by semis.
Mm-hmm.
And it just seemed so weird to me, like, like how they toss things around, like limpet charge with an assault, with assault grenades, and that's the guy who takes out tanks.
Well, and the limpet charge.
Yeah, the limpet charge was silly. I was like, what?
I love it. It's great. It's a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, like, they actually went into it and shook things up in a way that it's like, okay, this stuff makes sense. Like, this guy isn't good at dealing with infantry, or, like, he's not built for close quarters combat with infantry, but he's able to do, this. Like the control leader, who's like the squad leader guy, the one that you can spawn on, the only one you can spawn on. In the game, he's got the more long-range oriented weapons because he's supposed to kind of sit back and be that person that everybody spawns on.
Yeah.
And so, like, you look at the 5 kits there that they've detailed, you can say, okay, this kit is good for this kit is good for that. Like, they have clear strengths and weaknesses, and they have clear special abilities that the other ones don't have. And if you look at that, just like with Rainbow Six Siege, like, you can develop strategies around that. And the reason you can do that is because there are kit limitations, there are weapon limitations. Each of them have their own abilities. And it's nice as well. This is one thing, like, I didn't realize until after I was playing it, but now I understand it. It makes sense. The assault, the AT assault, has a 50% damage reduction to explosives. So I saw this guy and, like, I hit him, like, directly with the AT gun, and it's like he only took 50 damage. I was like, what the heck? How did that not kill him? And in retrospect, looking at that, I should have been like, I know he's the anti-tank guy because he's the only one that has that ability. So because I'm in the tank, he needs to be prioritized, because if I don't take him out, he's going to eat me for lunch.
I mean, it's a good moment for call out and squad play and say, I just saw him. He's on the right. Please take him out before he's coming after me. I need help.
but it's like, because of that structure, you're able to identify without actually seeing him.
I think it adds in communication too. It's going to be like, take that guy out first if you're the tank driver. So you're relaying that information to your team.
Yeah. I was blown away by it. I did not expect it to be that good. And I'm not saying that, looking back at it with, like, rose-colored glasses, like, oh, it was so much better than I thought it would be. Like, if I take a step back from that and I look at games like Rainbow Six Siege, and I look at them like, that's, like, it was still good on its own. Just standing on its own, not looking at some of the other games there. Incursions was built really well. So I'm interested to see what they're going to do with this alpha, which we don't have a date for yet. It's just going to come sometime in September.
Month, right?
Yeah. sometime this month, and unfortunately, it's going to be PC only at first. They
was
they haven't
disappointed with
announced
that.
anything for consoles
Yeah, I was
yet.
too.
They are making it sound like it's going to happen. I don't know about the alpha. Maybe they'll launch everything across all the platforms at once when it comes to the full release of it, which, by the way, is going to be free,
Nice.
available to everybody.
More
You
good news.
don't need to have premium for that. I was getting some comments on there like, "Is this part of premium? Like, what? It's like if DICE wants it to be good and to be successful, like it's got to be for free."
Yeah.
So just another thing like people can get for free and then complain about, I guess. Uh, but I had a lot of fun with it. If you guys want to watch the gameplay of the tanker, I have that up on my YouTube channel. So when the podcast is over, you can check that out or something.
think-
But
I
The
just
only
linked
thing that
it.
worries me though is I don't know how successful it's going to be, and I think it needs to be successful if they're going to do it again in the future, right?
yeah,
Like in the next
True.
Battlefield, I really
It's-
feel like this is their test, like
It-
to test it now before the next
it
one.
is, and it's something like honestly from playing it, if it's not successful, I will be really surprised.
You know what? I mean, I think what adds to success, in my opinion, is like having the characters have some sort of distinction. Like you look at Rainbow Six, Sledge, and he's almost funny. Sledge, there's Ash, there's this, these people. Now, they're like 8 different kids. I know you only got to play 5, Flak, but
Yep.
were they significantly different looking that you can tell like this was the tanker guy or not? Or were they just the same player models we always play with?
Most of the time, the only way you can really distinguish them is by looking at their weapon, and when you actually spot them, you get a circle above the character that shows what kind it is. But and this is an alpha. Maybe that'll change. I would certainly really like to see that. I think one of the more appealing parts of Rainbow Six Siege is that those characters have personalities.
Right. I would like
Like-
to see some personality in the Battlefield comp actual like personas. Like the captain should look like a captain, not just some random guy on the field,
Well, and it's like they reuse the pilot outfit, I think, for the control leader.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it makes him easy to identify. You're like, that's the controller, like I got to go after him.
Well, I want the
Well, that-
guy
that
with
helps
like
with
a
the-
cool hat or something, like an
Yeah.
actual captain.
It's not like Overwatch where you want it to be huge, but that would help esports too, where if somebody's watching for the first time, they said, that guy with a big hat, oh man, the big hat guy is coming for the tank. In your opinion, Flack, how do you feel it's going to be for people to shoutcast for, I guess you say for esports? Because, that's what they're going for. That's what's going to make this game mode even bigger, is shoutcasting like the scoring
Yeah.
system and what's identifiable. Right?
I did talk to David Serlin about that, and like they are on board with spectator mode, and like that's going to be part of it. It's going to be integral to the whole experience. And like one of the things that was key for me, is he's talking about like, is this going to be successful? Like it was fun to watch, like, and that's key. Like it's
definitely.
got to be interesting to actually watch. And like some of the other matches that are out there that the competitive community has been doing in the meantime, like they're entertaining to watch, but only because of the like skill of the players in terms of how quickly they're able to hit a target. There's not a whole lot of like, wow, look at that strategy that they just pulled off, because there's no way to really there's no structure for that strategy to exist, and there is with this mode. But that's something that I think they're looking for feedback, and that's something that I'm definitely going to mention, that it would be real nice to have more personality to these kids
Yeah.
and
think
more
so.
visual uniqueness in that regard.
It just when I think about like a common Battlefield person watching Battlefield competitive, he's gonna look at like if the character model looks like an assault player, he's gonna look at that assault player and be like, why does that assault player have a medic weapon? And then why is he carrying the limpet charge? You know what I'm saying? It just, that's confusing, and it won't go off well. I think they need to do completely different character models for all of them. This way, it would be something like, no, 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 that's regular Battlefield. This is comp. You know, the distinction will be made, and I know it's going to cost them assets, and that's why they kind of shoehorn everything right now, because they're focusing assets on other things, like the gameplay, which you say is phenomenal, which is 10 out of 10 so far. I haven't gotten to try it, but I believe in your opinion, Flag, because, you know, I've known you for a while now. But these are the things I would love for DICE to understand. Like, make sure that there's a good distinction there. And I will just throw this out there that I actually really like that they did. The map looks phenomenal for the actual gameplay that it's facilitating. I like that they, you know, the best thing they could ever do is create maps for the specific game modes.
I
It
completely
works so
agree.
much better. Everybody wonders why was Bad Company 2 so good or Bad Company 1 so good, because those maps were designed exactly for the game modes that they were played on. Battlefield
Got a
3
point.
and on, you just had one map, and then they put all the game modes into it. And some game modes were okay on it. Conquest worked phenomenally, but like other game modes didn't work. Like with the current Russian DLC, I really did not care for operations on it. But Conquest is great, and I'm sure they designed it with Conquest in mind. It just shows. So great thing on that. Flag, I do have to say, if we have to close off this segment, wrap it up with some ideas. Everybody have anything else to add?
One final point. I know because from the PC perspective, I've been working with some people from like the hardcore league. I hope that Incursions really takes off 5v5, because it would be really exciting. Nice segue to Izzy for the future of Battlefield to see maybe 12v12, something a little more grand scale. If the personas really stick out in the battlefield and you can really see it, to see bring back some of that large scale Battlefield. You know,
Yeah,
I would love to
Then
see that.
I guess that makes sense. If right now they're gonna have 8, right? Personas.
Yeah,
So I
they've
can see
announced
8
8 so
8,
far.
and if DICE
Yeah, yeah.
decides with future DLC to add more personas, you know, then you know that can facilitate larger things. I just don't know how you can have 2 of one and not others and stuff like that. That becomes
True.
hard.
Yeah, that does get more complex, but from the sounds of it, I asked them. I said, is this going to be something you're going to carry into the next Battlefield? And of course, they couldn't really say anything to it. But they're like, if it's successful, I think it's something that's going to become a more integral part to it. And from playing it, like I enjoyed it a lot. It's something that if I had 2 game modes in Battlefield that I would like to keep, I would keep Conquest and this Incursions. Like those are the 2 things I would play. Like Incursions when I really want to be competitive, and Conquest when I'm like, I just want those only in Battlefield kind of moments.
Cool. All right, so we're gonna move on to our next topic. This one is by Izzy. And Izzy, will the next Battlefield be bigger than BF1? Take it away, sir.
All right, guys. So it's no secret, Battlefield 1 has been the most successful Battlefield title ever by not just a little bit, by a lot. It's blasted Battlefield into the mainstream, which is awesome for DICE. I mean, it's really their landmark game at this point. Nothing has even come close to the success they've had with Battlefield 1, but just because this one's successful doesn't mean the next one is going to be just as successful. I mean, if anything, Call of Duty is the perfect example of that. One year they'll have a massive game, and the next is a total flop. So just because the previous game was successful doesn't mean the next one is going to be. Of course, I want the next Battlefield to be as successful as possible, but who knows? I think Battlefield 1 came at the perfect time. People were sick of modern and futuristic games, and they threw it back to the past. And it happened to have a whole bunch of things come together for it. But my guess is the next Battlefield is going to be modern / semi-futuristic, and I don't know if it's going to be as big as Battlefield 1 was. What do you guys think?
I don't know. If I was to comment on that, the one thing I hope that doesn't happen to the next Battlefield is that the hype isn't so big. I feel like big hype has potential to kill games. Absolutely.
No Man's Sky.
You hype things up, and the whole gaming community gets, this is the second coming of Jesus here, and then you wait till year 2000 and you're like, holy crap, it's 2000 January 2nd, and it wasn't that big a deal. It's just a number that rolled over, and it just loses its flavor. I really would like to see that I'm excited for the next Battlefield, whatever it's gonna be. So I'm guessing that DICE is gonna surprise us because I like the fact that DICE is still one of those developers you can't really pinpoint what's gonna happen next. It's
But
refreshing.
that's a good thing.
Yeah, it's
mean-
refreshing. With Call of Duty, you could have seen World War II coming. Like they're like, oh, COD is tanking as a I don't know, an
A
IP.
super modern shooter,
Right.
futuristic space shooter. let's go back to what people liked, because then you'll
Exactly.
draw in that crowd. Yeah.
Yep, and we'll say, we're going back to the roots, but these are just so predictable things. Like that's one of the things I liked about going to World War One. It was like, whoa, I never played here. Whoa, I can't believe they did it.
Mhm.
And it looks great, sounds great, and it plays great. There definitely need to be some improvements, but every game needs improvements.
Yeah, and for me, what made Battlefield 1 so interesting was, obviously I already liked World War One, but to be in a time frame in a game that you hadn't really been in before, right? You're like using weapons you never used. It's like, oh, I'm learning about this, oh, I'm learning about that. That's one of the major things that makes that game appealing to people. So I mean, like, of all the different things out there, if I were them, I would go to Korea, because nobody's really done it. Maybe Kim Jong wouldn't like that so much right now, but
No. Yo.
it's something that's like, it hasn't been done by a AAA title.
I got it, guys. It's post-nuclear Korea, future, and it'll be like 2018. It'll be like,
What are
oh
we
my
playing
God.
as cockroaches or
Well, that's a
something?
little
Just
close.
like-
It's like,
Well, that's what we're in. That's
Like, we'll just scrap Battlefield. It'd be Fallout, North Korea.
I really think that they'll do something different. I hear what you're saying, Izzy. It doesn't mean that the next Battlefield game is gonna be bigger than Battlefield 1. I think the hype might not be as big as Battlefield 1, but I think the game itself is actually gonna carry these players over, and it's gonna be
I hope
just as big
so,
or
but
bigger.
hype sells. I mean, I think Battlefield 1 had this perfect storm around it to really launch
Yeah.
it into like the light.
100% agree. And there are a lot of, I'm reading in the chat here. It's like, somebody said, where is it? Almighty Ben said, if DICE do World War II, perhaps. And it's like, it'll be interesting if they do that, because COD will have just done
Yeah.
it. It's like,
I don't
and
think
then
they will though.
how will that impact how the game is received? I guess if like COD tanks, people will be like, oh, maybe DICE did it right. I don't know.
Or
I
maybe it'll
I
just
couldn't
be
see
like
them doing two like past setting games in a row.
I think they learned that lesson, dude. Because when you make two games within the same setting too closely, people scream.
They get
reskin.
bored.
Look at
It
Battlefield
feels
3
too
and
similar.
Battlefield 4. Everybody was like, "Yo, that's a reskin, right?" But it's not, But it is.
But people like to complain.
Yes.
And yeah, you get the same thing. Even when they went to Hardline, it was like, oh, they already had this gun in Battlefield 4.
Yeah,
speaking
like-
of what made BF1 hype so big was the fact that it did have that perfect storm where Hardline was not as successful. It brought a lot of great things, but it really deviated. So BF1 had this special hype around it because of that, where it was like, oh, we're getting finally back to what
where people
Battlefield
in the
means.
Battlefield community were excited, and then other people outside the community are like, "Wow, this looks really cool. I got to pick this up."
But
Exactly.
like the hype on that, like the whole, I think the fallout from Call of Duty just getting those massive dislikes,
Exactly.
and everybody going to the Battlefield one and massive upvotes, like it's just it was the thing to do, it was cool to be hyped.
I think that if BF1 does it right with the setup with like Incursions and all the balancing, and they said, hey, we're bringing the next title, I feel like there's going to be a lot of hype with the next game, especially, how they always throw curveballs, and the next one could be Bad Company. I mean, everyone wants to see Bad Company again, That's what everyone talks about. So if they do something like that and say, look, we perfected all the bad things about Battlefield 1, here's Bad Company, we're doing it even better this time. I mean, that right there gets me hyped thinking about it.
Yeah, I think I just want to throw this out there. I think Bad Company themed Incursions would be really freaking cool. Like,
I was
you
gonna
want to
say
talk
the same
about
thing.
personality, like that would be a cool tie over, like with that, because it's like then you could have like these outlandish personalities for people, and
They could
it
do
would
like
be,
call outs and stuff and make it really
Wow,
funny.
man.
Yeah.
Yo,
It actually works
that's
really
great.
well thinking about that.
Yeah. And that's something that the game needs. The game does need a little personality, you know. Even Battlefield 1 as it stands, just the product that they have now lacks personality.
But I mean, that can be said about all the Battlefield games except for Bad Company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look at the one that's like regarded as like a all-time favorite. The one with personality.
Well, I mean, we all remember the characters from that game, and that's why.
Sweetwater. I mean, yes, you do. It was just a great thing. I think that's a great thing. And I don't know. The future of Battlefield is definitely bright. I don't think it's bleak. It's not a company that's stagnating.
No, it's not a
Yeah.
bleak future at all.
It's-
I mean,
yeah.
it'll definitely be successful, no matter
If-
what they do.
If you look at, like Battlefield and COD right now, and like the outlook on the future, they are totally different. just to point that out, like,
I would say so too.
like Battlefield is like going places COD like might not make it past this next
I
generation.
played World War II. It was not very good. Throwing that out
And
there.
you know what? The Battlefield franchise, what I appreciate is that they're listening to the community to make things better for the future. Like even as we do stuff like this as a community, it really shows that they listen and then implement it.
Yeah.
What people like.
There's definitely great ideas being bounced around the content creators and around you guys, the community. You guys are watching live and you're chatting with us and we're reading these comments, looking through it. It's important to say these things, and definitely. Do you guys have any closing ideas? I do want to jump to the next topic. I know this wasn't a massive topic, but I like that idea, Izzy. It was great to talk about what the future looks like. All right, I guess not. Then we'll just go straight to the fourth topic. I'm trying to keep it under that hour, mark. It's really hard because when you talk about incursions, you talk about unlocks, and there's just so much, And our next topic as well, Daz, you're a special guest. You brought in a special topic specifically from PC-oriented gamer that you are, balancing PC and console separately. Interesting thought.
I have to say I'm actually really excited about this topic. It actually clues in with everything we're talking about in general. We talk about the future of Battlefield, we talk about incursions, we talk about the competitive nature of things. And even when we look at the CTE, we're starting to see balance changes to the game. And it really brings the topic, because they did this in Hardline while it was kind of, shoved underneath and people didn't really notice that. Should we balance the game different from console to PC? Not to spring any debate saying console is better, PC is better, because there's not one platform that's better. But I think it's important to note that naturally it's a little harder to shoot on console with suppression or maybe recoil, but on PC you can control that a lot easier. Now, if you balance a certain game on PC, that's going to completely change the way you play on console. An example of that would be the 80-80 spam on PC. For example, people moving left to right on console, that's not as much of a big deal. But when they make that change, that's going to really, really impact how console plays. It may feel more sluggish.
Right. We said, we were briefly talking about this before we went live in our prep phase for the podcast. And 8080 is being fixed in CTE patches right now. You can check it out on CTE on console and on CTE on PC. And it was something, the player models moving left and right too quickly on PCs, then therefore it's hard to get a headshot, or really it's just for the headshot, mostly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Headshots, or you can say even with body shots. I mean, when somebody's moving left and right, I think you guys, Izzy, Flak, when you guys were at the events, will say it's when PC players are doing it, it's a bit of a pain. Am I right?
Because it's so
Yeah.
instant.
Yeah, it's just and it's like if I were to try and do that with a controller, it'd have to be like,
Yeah,
you can't do
wouldn't
it.
work.
Like,
Nah. And so you don't see that as a problem on console, but yet when DICE decides to patch in their changes they made in CTE to the main game, like Daz said, I feel like it might turn it sluggish, so it might not be necessary to even do that. I don't think the console community, myself, or I don't know about you guys, have we even complained about that?
No, it's not an issue on console. I'm glad Daz brought this up because I think it's like a bigger issue for video games in general that have a player base on both PC and console, is they'll try to balance them the same, and it just doesn't work because
No.
they play so differently.
yeah, because like another thing that you get on PC a lot that we just don't have on console because it's not intuitive or easy to do is like the sliding. Like you
Yeah.
see sliding all over on PC, and for me, it's kind of frustrating to deal with because I'm playing against PC players with a controller. But like you got to deal with that. At the same point, I was having an interesting discussion with Westy on Twitter, where we both had very different opinions on the SMG 0818.
That's the new submachine gun.
Yeah, where
It's
I really
amazing.
like it because it's got some serious like stability and accuracy at range for the assault class. And he's like, this like there are much better options, you know, like pick any one of these and it would be better. And we came to the conclusion that we think the recoil is much more manageable with a controller than it is on mouse and PC. And that's kind of an interesting outlook at that, where
You
we're
mean
like,
the
oh, we
recoil
never
for
thought
that
of it that way.
SMG?
Yeah,
That
in
specific
terms,
gun?
it's easier to control with a controller than with a mouse and keyboard. So it's
That's
like
weird.
if they were to look at that kind of stuff for balancing, you know, console versus PC, that would be important to do there as well, I think.
I think that's a really solid point you hit on, because let's say recoil away a certain pattern it has on PC would be easier, and some may be easier in console depending on how it's designed in general, you know. And something like that can really affect balancing. Like we see it with games like Destiny, where they're console based completely, and
Yeah.
then throw it on PC, and everyone says there's no recoil, there's no skill in this game. You know, on console it's extremely skill based. You know, you may have a different approach on PC, but you know, if
You
DICE
see-
implements it, would work well.
This is interesting. Joe Mike said something in the chat. Says the AD spam fix that is in CTE didn't really affect console because of the dead zone settings on controllers. That's interesting. You guys know what a dead zone is? It's like when your thumbstick is centered, and how much do you have to go? Do you have to go 10% out for it to actually register that you're going left and right? You know, and that makes sense because you have like a split second before you even have the input of going left and right because of these dead zone settings. That's very interesting. I just want to comment on Flak because that's the real thing is when you look at console guns that are viable in Battlefield, they're the ones with a lot of control. They're the ones with good amount of accuracy with that control. Because like Daz said, it's easy to control recoil with the mouse as you drag it down and whatnot. It's kind of tougher to do that, specifically if you have like a dead zone that's not set up properly. Your stick sensitivity is like high, so you can turn fast, but then you can't really hold down like minute.
Your controller is old.
Yeah,
Like
who
like
knows?
there's like
something
tons of
to that,
factors
though.
in there. Like
Right.
I do appreciate that DICE gives us the ability to adjust our dead zone settings
Yes,
with
no,
our controllers.
DICE is one of the best companies that actually gives you the most customizability with your settings I've seen through all the FPS games I've tried. You know, I wish games like Rainbow Six would
For
improve that.
console, for sure, like FOV slider and custom dead zone and sensitivity. I mean, they're
Lots of
leading it
stuff.
for sure.
The other game that I saw that was very good with it was Lawbreakers, but RIP Lawbreakers, bro. It's
That
good to
poor
know
game.
ya.
It's a fun game.
Yeah.
It was. Somehow it just didn't pick up, and RIP. But my thing on Battlefield is like, I always talk, like people come into the stream and I always tell them like, yo, Benet Mercier is my favorite gun. And they'll be like, what? You know, I'll get that same reaction you got, Flag, from Westy. Like, how are you saying this gun is good when I can easily just take the Automatico and I can control the recoil so it's so spot on. I would outgun you any day, you know, against that SMG that you were using. But it's just different. So, like, I don't know. I would like to see DICE look at the recoil pattern and the movement separately.
And you know, the plus side is that Flack brought up is that DICE is really making these decisions to really go above and beyond. Incursions made a surprise even to Izzy where, hey, they're actually going for it. You know, they're making some big moves. And if they do it with Hardline, I feel like a lot of people, even though, you know, Hardline is the favorite game, but they made a lot of changes later in the game that I feel like if people are around would have really responded positively to.
I agree completely.
Hey, but sometimes it's too little too late, you know?
That's very true. At least with the blessing with Battlefield 1, I mean, we still have so much hype around it. We got the next game that it is not too late yet. So if we have stuff like this, then it can make a positive impact. Even when we see it with other games and stuff like that.
For sure.
Other games.
But the biggest, I guess the biggest thing, and I guess I'll go, I'm kind of curious, I guess I would say with Flack on this, is that with Incursions, if they were to make a huge separation with the balancing, especially with the guns, do you think, how much of an impact do you think it'll have? Will we have too many different versions of the game running around? We'll have the split between the casuals, the split between the Incursions. We got, at that point, 4 different games that we're looking at, that all play a little differently.
And I mean, that's going to be kind of a nightmare to deal with. Like one of the reasons I don't really mind, if they don't balance these things differently on PC versus console, is that, I'm not a mathematical guy. Echo understands this, but it's like a random sample in some ways, where you're going to have things that work better on console than they do on PC and vice versa. And I think players on console will gravitate towards certain guns, whereas players on PC will gravitate towards certain guns. And between the two, they even out. I don't know if that's accurate or anything. I did want to bring this up.
It's possible that it would just happen that way.
Yeah. I asked David Serlin, and because we're talking about console versus PC and this and that, and if I'm going to play Incursions on PC, I'm going to be using a controller most likely. I'm trying to work on my mouse and keyboard skills, but I asked him, I said, how will DICE handle aim assist and slowdown in Incursions for those with controllers? They said aim assist is getting some changes on the Battlefield 1 CTE currently, but we don't have anything further to confirm at this stage related to consoles and Battlefield 1 Incursions. So that's something I didn't specifically mention in the video, but you guys probably want to know.
Yeah, that's something I feel like, a lot of comp that's already established in the console scene, they look down on aim assist. Mm-hmm. That's just one of those things, it's no skill, right? It's there to help the lesser skilled be able to compete against the skilled.
I use it.
I use half of it. So
I can't stand it.
Technically, I use some of it. But, it's necessary at some point, sometimes it's not. There's different opinions out there. I feel like the people who feel like it's not necessary on console usually are using peripherals like raised thumbsticks. Is he smiling?
Maybe. I use a scuff, so yeah.
I still remember at the capture event, you walked up,
that was pretty cool.
Just holding your little thumbstick boosters there.
Hey, I know that if you use them, you get really good and you don't even need slowdown, right? Izzy?
Yeah, it's like everybody should use them if you're on console.
I tried and I can't.
It takes about a week to get used to them, and then once you're used to them, you'll never not use them again.
It's the same thing with aim assist, really. When you think about, I know Echo and I had this conversation about aim assist, where if you take it off, that it takes a little while to get used to, but you have to keep in mind every single game you play with has a different level of aim assist. So when you hop on a new game, it's like playing something brand new, whether you hop on COD, Halo, anything like that. It's going to throw you off no matter what you're doing.
That's a real problem on console. Specifically, like you'll play a little Destiny, then you go play Battlefield, then you go play COD, then you go play Halo, whatever, right? Every single game feels different. And I know you fight with the settings and you try to tweak them so they all feel the same when you're bouncing around, but it's like tremendously terrible. On PC, is that a problem, Daz?
Not a problem at all. Actually, what I preach on my stream is I say practice consistency, positioning, and and confidence. Well, the consistency meaning if you have a sensitivity, whatever game you play, make sure it feels the exact same. Change your DPI, change whatever. So when you hop on that game, it doesn't feel different. And because you don't want it to feel different.
But do you have to battle with the settings? Like if you on your
not
PC,
really. It's not
like
that bad.
You have your DPI set and you jump on Halo, you jump on COD, you jump on Battlefield, it's all gonna work?
It's not too bad. You have to do a little bit of settings, config a little bit, but it's not that bad and you can get it there. Unlike on console where it's a bit of a struggle. And this is why I have a much respect for console guys, You guys have it hard where it's like, okay, I'm going to go play COD and you're like, why does this feel so foreign? What am I playing?
I wish it was a little more universal. It would be
I think
it's so noticeable when you play a game too, where you're like, oh, I don't have to make these kinds of changes. And then you're like, why can't they all do this? Is there like a patent somewhere where like they can't do this?
I don't know. But you know what's I think there's a thing on PC that helps you. There's like a website that helps you set up your DPIs and your sensitivities.
There is, it's called mousesensitivity.com, and I actually use it myself. But when you go on there, you just plug in your settings, say convert from BF1 to, I guess you can say player unknown battlegrounds, and it'll change the sensitivity. Hey, use 6%, use 4%. And you're like, thank you, appreciate that, you know. And all of a sudden,
we can get that on console.
And you feel
Holy
good.
crap, that's a game changer.
Yeah, where's consolesensitivity.com? Like, someone go make that a thing.
Somebody in the chat get on that $1 million idea.
Seriously.
Or at
You know,
least
when you
jump
look at-
on their URL.
When you look at the future of like video games in general, and I think DICE is really following this, I'm kind of curious on the success, obviously talking about Battlefield, but player unknown going to console, because I feel like that's going to impact the DICE franchise, especially. Like, let's say they bring a certain aim assist or try to config things a certain way, and it does very well. I wonder if DICE is going to really pick up on that and really apply it to Incursions. I've thought a lot about that.
It's very interesting. All right, I think we're gonna wrap up the topics. Any last thoughts on just PC versus console? What they should focus on, making it different?
They should focus on balancing the two separately in the
I think
future.
so too. I would do recoil and movement. That'd be a focus for me.
I think my final note is that there's not one platform that's better than all the others, and that there's not one skill over it. I feel like when you have these conversations that people get so hung up like Xbox Pros are better than PC, or you look at CSGO. I think the thing that you have to look at is that there's skill in every single platform, and it's just a matter of capitalizing on it.
Dude, I totally agree
Completely.
with that. Because you give me an Xbox controller and I can't be as good as I am on PS4. And that's a console to console. I'm not even talking console to give me a mouse and keyboard, you know? Weird. I like my thumbsticks this way, not like that, you know? Bizarre. But, alright guys, these were our 4 topics. Hopefully you enjoyed the conversation. Thank you for being a part of it. I will now transition us to the open segment for the live audience. You guys, if you have questions, remember put in @crew, C-R-E-W. We will all try to answer your questions live right here while we're recording this episode. Or you can ask specific people. You want to know more about PC stuff? Ask @Daz, and we'll read it off and we'll answer it, or @Izzy, or whatever we're gonna do. So that being said, give you guys some time to figure things out. I think I'll read an email or 2 off, and I'll also remind people, if you're watching, make sure you do like us on YouTube when Flakfire does post this to his YouTube channel. And you can also review us on iTunes. Be awesome. For those of you guys who are watching the recording, you're not live. Of course, you can ask your questions via email. It is the Let's Talk Podcast @gmail.com. And I'm going to look over and see what kind of...
It's an interesting
emails.
question in there. Oh, you're talking about emails. I was reading the chat.
All right, well, I'm just going to read off at least one email before we get to there, because we do have some. We have one from Robert Gonzalez. Says, "Hi, fellow soldiers. I know the bayonet topic has been discussed already. Just want to add one thing. You know, on the medic class, you can use rifle grenades. Well, we could have a feature attaching and detaching the bayonet. Then we wouldn't have to worry about switching it till the next life. What are your thoughts?"
I think that, historically, I mean, that was a thing, it's very easy to go and attach a bayonet, remove a bayonet, I would really like that. I would like the ability to remove it so that, I can have a faster ADS time.
Man, I mean, the only problem I see
How
is
often would you really use that, though? Like, realistically?
probably not a lot.
I would use it all the time. If I'm at medium range, I've got to take that thing off so I can do, more work like that. And if I know that I'm going to go into an area where there's going to be some close-up action stuff, I would put it on there.
You see, the problem with the bayonet is there isn't a significant difference with it on or off.
Yeah, there would need to be a bigger impact to ADS
and
speed.
then that feature
Like a noticeable difference.
I feel like it is a noticeable difference to me.
I will agree with you, Flack. I think it's a noticeable one too, especially on PC. If you gave me that option, I may actually use the bayonet, because I actually take it off on all my weapons. I mean, especially as, I guess, aggressive sniper, when you're running around, that ADS does make a huge difference, and that's why I have it off always. But having that option would be quite nice.
Wow. You know, but this is an interesting PC versus console topic here too, because on PC I can imagine you could just map another button on the keyboard, bayonet on or off. Where on console are you gonna press that button? Them buttons, man, we don't have enough.
Doesn't up on the D-pad not do anything?
No, that's your gas mask.
What about down?
That's your firing mode.
Yeah,
Okay, what about you,
kinda...
you hold a button, you click another button.
Press the
Hold
select
R1
button.
and then you click down.
Well, if we do that,
I'll
Izzy, we'll need
just-
another Flakfire video just to explain that to us.
Yeah. What they should do, at least for Xbox, I could sit there like, Cortana, put on the bayonet, and it'll take her like 15 seconds to figure that out, and then it happens on screen. I'm already
Did you
dead.
say
you know
remove
what's
your ammo?
funny? You know what's funny? PlayStation also has voice recognition.
It
That's a
doesn't
good
work.
point.
Yeah,
You
I
can say stuff. I don't know what
just,
it does.
it would
Just
be
imagine some guy raging, screaming at his controller, bayonet on. Would you like auto fire?
bayonet on. Here are several recipes for waffles and pancakes.
Yeah.
Like just write random things that it doesn't
Right.
it doesn't make any sense. Well, and here's something else. Like I do like the idea of removing and being able to put it back on. Like it's realistic in some ways. You'd be able to do that. It's like if they wanted to do that, they would either have to do something where it's like they take the gun off the screen and then it's up, or they would have to like actually make an animation for putting the bayonet on every single gun, which I don't think would work. So like that would be a lot of time and money sunk into a feature that probably not that many people would use. But
You
if
go the
it were
007
an
route
ability-
where you just see your
I
gun
would-
go down and goes.
Yes, exactly. You know what I'm talking about, where it's like no bayonet, like, and you just assume it happens off screen. You're like, yeah, that's reasonable.
That's all right. We have another email, and I believe it is from PD Amada. And before I read it, guys, I see a lot of people throwing in questions at us and everything else. I would just like to say, keep it Battlefield focused. We have answered things like, waffles or pancakes already. Go watch the old one. If you have a question that's Battlefield related, I would love those in the chat. I think we only have one. I think someone said at Flakfire, are you in love with the limpet charge?
It's funny, and it's not as goofy as the bayonet charge. Well,
It's more goofy. Come on.
It is, but it's like people complain about the bayonet charge all the time. They're like, that's unfair, blah blah blah, and it's like literally, it's hilarious. You just run around, you're like, it's hearing this, and it's like, if you watch the one video, I run right by like this German soldier, and he's just like, he just like watches me do it, run around the building, and then throw it at the tank that's over there.
Yeah.
But it's something that there's like serious risk and reward with that, and it's not like a bayonet charge where it's like, I'm just gonna go, and if I see someone, I'm gonna try and get them kind of thing, because it's not built like that.
Yeah.
But
I have the perfect counter
stupid
for it.
fun.
What's the
I
counter?
have a perfect counter. What if you have the limpet charge? If you could shoot it while they're running to stop them, like if you could shoot the charge while
Yeah,
they're
that
running,
would be awesome.
that would be
Oh, wow.
awesome to see competitively. Like
Just
somebody
blow
charging
up.
at you and just shoot him. Like I got him.
You know what though? I now I'm thinking about this too. Like, how's that gonna work on console? What button are you gonna press to limpet charge?
Double tap A.
No, it functions the same way as the bayonet charge.
Yeah,
so
but
you
you're
put the
running,
limpet.
and then you press the knife button, and it'll limpet charge instead of actually swap with a knife. You see where the
Yeah.
problem lies?
It basically, when you have the limpet equipped, like
Yeah.
if you're not pushing forward on the stick, when you press that for the charge, it will switch to the knife. Because it actually happened to me in one of my gameplays where I thought I was going to do the limpet charge, and then like I just knifed the tank.
Bro,
I
he's
knifed it,
dying
like,
every time you have
twice,
to
and I
say
had to-
charge twice. It's so. I'm looking at
I-
him. He's just like limpet charge. I was like, come on.
But it does take a little bit of getting used to with it, but it's a neat thing, and it's something I'm like, it's kind of realistic, I guess. Like if you were like seriously like, I need to blow up this tank or we're all gonna die, like you'd probably try to get there a little bit faster than you would just your casual running speed with the limpet charge,
All right, so I'm going to read off another email we had, and you guys still have some time to ask us questions. We got one from PD Amada, like I said before. It says, "Hey guys, hey guys, Pat Montana here. Love the podcast. I ran across a great post about BF1 Revolution on Reddit and would like your opinion on it. And the post is basically like a discussion on people who paid $50 for Premium Pass with the advent of Battlefield Revolution, which is $60 all packed in, and which is mind-boggling. When I went to GameStop, I saw the Revolution for $40 on sale, and this was like 3 days ago. $40. You're getting the game and premium in there, right next to that $40.
That's a pretty good deal.
That's a great deal. And right next to that $40 version was the regular base game for $40. I told the GameStop guy, I was like, you know that this game has premium in it. Like, why are they both the same price? He's like, GameStop does this all the time. I'm like, all right, whatever. But this Reddit post talks about, do you think people should be compensated in some sort of way because of the pack-in?
No, I think that's completely silly. It's like if I were to go and pay $10 to go watch a movie when it just came out, like I wouldn't be pissed about the fact that somebody paid $2 to rent it 3 months from now.
Yeah, I feel like yeah.
It's just part of the way that it goes. And I mean, like, people will debate this all day because they feel like they should be compensated for this or that or whatever. Like, I bought premium twice on PC and Xbox, you know, like, here's the thing. I would much rather, like, if you want to talk compensation, like, I'm being compensated in a way with them doing this Battlefield Revolution thing, because now I get to play maps that I wouldn't have otherwise been able to play because there wasn't enough people online to, you know, have enough servers going so I'd be able to find stuff. Like,
it does help the people who already have premium in a way.
Like,
now you're getting populated servers.
And it's fine by me. It's like I've enjoyed things before everybody else. I still get to enjoy things before everybody else, you know. But, you know, to be like, oh, I deserve some kind of compensation for that. Like, no, like time is part of the reason you purchase.
Well, this post, interestingly enough, didn't just talk about money compensation. Like, they were just talking about, like, hey, what about getting extra scraps? Like, maybe, you know, doesn't Rainbow Six do this? Where they give you more renown because you are a premium person?
Yeah. You get a 10% boost.
Yeah, so, or like a 10%, 20% faster battle pack acquisition. I don't know.
I mean, I'd be fine with that. That would make me feel more valued. But at the same time, like, I'd much rather play the maps. Like, I'd much rather play full games on maps. So it's something, it's like I'm being compensated by the fact that I get to play these maps now.
We've already had the benefit of being early access at this point. I mean, honestly, just playing the maps is just the biggest bonus. Even as somebody who has premium, I just prefer to have populated servers and not have them die out.
Okay. Izzy?
I think the same thing. I mean, the fact that people expect to, like, I don't know, be compensated because the game was lowered in price is ridiculous. I mean,
and there are still people out there saying, like, oh, there's not enough content in base Battlefield 1. And it's like DICE keeps adding content. They keep adding content, and somehow the voices are getting louder that there's not enough content in the game. Like, I don't understand.
Well, because it's the people who don't have premium. They're not getting any of this new content.
It still just blows my mind. Like, it's like Incursions is going to be free, and people are like, everything's behind a paywall. It's like, no, like, they keep adding that. Like, they added Frontlines to vanilla maps. They gave you an entire new game mode on like four maps now, and there's probably like more planned for things, but it's ludicrous.
Yeah.
Like, I'm all for being critical about this kind of stuff and being like, are we getting our money's worth for what we paying? Like, I wrote a thesis on that. But it's like, there has to be a line somewhere where you're like, I feel like for $60 I was adequately compensated. Or like, right, for if I bought premium, that I feel like I'm getting my money's worth. And personally, like, there's no question about that.
Yeah.
It's the amount of hours.
When you put it that way, it does make sense. I mean, your analogy there with the whole movies thing, it's just how it is. At least it's not as bad as movies. Like, if you go see a movie during night, it's $12. But if you go see it, at 12 in the morning, like 12 at noon, it's only $7.50. It's
You buy premium on the Saturday matinee.
You
It's
get
only
40% off.
$25.
Yeah. At least they don't do that. That is really weird. We do have a question for Daz. I think you did answer it, but maybe you might want to verbally answer that too. Daz, you had Delusion asking you about how they fix an 80-80 spam. What exactly are they doing?
So pretty much they're slowing the acceleration and de-acceleration. So I know Florian Drunksies, he tweeted out a photo of what it looks like, or video, and the player movement just looks a lot more fluid. So unfortunately on PC, this does impact how sluggish the game might feel a little bit. You'll have like a little bit more, not necessarily lag, but it'll be a little bit more like, I guess, more of the Battlefield 4 feel behind it. And it also impacts, when people slide, that there's not this instant zigzag. That's pretty much what they fixed in a nutshell.
That's perplexing. Why did Battlefield 4 have that fixed and they didn't implement it in BF1?
I want to say it's because they wanted more action-packed. They wanted it faster. But, you do something in test and then you release it and then everyone reacts a certain way, This 80-80 spam isn't not necessarily Battlefield specific. This is across every single game that's ever been on PC. Go from Quake, Call of Duty. It exists everywhere.
Wow. Interesting. We have a question by Poppin' Buckets. Says, Akru, what is your biggest pet peeve that Battlefield 1 players do? What's the worst thing you've seen someone do?
They don't revive you. They don't throw down ammo. They don't give you health. They don't capture the flag.
I hate when vehicle campers spawn on a hill and they just do that.
Yeah, that too.
I hate that. That's my pet peeve.
Aside from complaining, which I don't know, lately I've been triggered by everybody whining, but lately one of the things that I really hate is there, and I've noticed it, I don't know why, it drives me up the wall. I'm always the one to kill them, so I feel good about it, but it's like people who the only thing they do in Battlefield 1 is playing vehicles. Like they never touch the ground as an infantry soldier. Like literally they will get in a tank, kill like 20 people until I murder them. And then I'm like, all right, I booted them out of the tank, they're done. And it's like they just wait. They just sit in that spawn screen and they wait for that tank to become available again, and they're like, all right, I'm gonna go do it again.
Because Flak, you forgot it's their tank. It's not yours.
Apparently, I don't know.
There's a pet peeve. Daz, you got a pet peeve?
I think mine has to go with Izzy when nobody drops you ammo or revives you. And the worst thing is like, okay, fine, I'll go kill an enemy and I'll pick it up myself. And then I pick up that enemy. I'm like, okay, medic, perfect. I can probably do this. Oh, wait. They loaded out with this and that. There's no syringe. I'm like, I can't win. I can't win. Even when I want to supply myself.
Why?
Seeing that support, you grab them like, okay, I'm going to give myself. They don't have a
There's
crate.
no ammo.
Oh,
There's nothing here.
They're running with nothing? Oh, come on.
Yeah,
that's the worst feeling ever when you try to even be self-sufficient and you can't.
that's one thing I wish got carried over from Hardline, was the ability to take health and ammo from people. Just be like, just admit that everybody's kind of dumb.
I don't know. I'm a little split on that. I want people to be better people. Can we teach people to be
Yeah,
better?
but it's not an ideal world, Echo.
Or just force them to take the ammo pouch or the healing pack, so then you don't have medics running around with 2 explosions. Why are they a medic?
We have another question by Almighty Ben. Says, Battlefield in 2142 setting, yay or nay? Imagine the Frostbite engine, and then he did 2 failed Craigasms. I'm calling you out, Almighty.
It's unfortunate when your Craigasm doesn't happen.
Come on, Fly. He typed it in wrong. Come on. But 2142, gentlemen, what do you guys think? Yay or nay?
Absolutely.
I say nay.
I say yay.
I say
I think it'll be fun.
2142 is the only Battlefield game I never played, so I can't weigh in on it.
I didn't play a ton, but I played enough to know it was fun.
Nah, not for me. I didn't play it, but I'm judging just based on looks. Looks are important to me.
I'd say as long as it's balanced and it's got stuff that I want to play, then I'm fine with any setting. Just give me some balance. That's all I really, really, truly care about. I get that question a lot on stream too.
Yeah, really? 2142?
Well, just what the next Battlefield, like, oh, what setting do you
Oh.
want? Future, I'm like, setting all aside, just give me some balance, give me some good gameplay, and I'm a happy guy. I'm a very simple man.
You got a interesting comment there in the chat from Broken Machine who says, "What's with 3 artillery trucks on Galicia?" They didn't have tanks at that point. That's the reason DICE did not put them in there. Is that historically during that offensive they were not there.
Okay.
Didn't know that, but that makes sense.
Wow, I didn't know that either.
So,
I wish
you
they
know
would
what?
tell you that.
I found that strange. First of all, that's the first DLC in this Battlefield they restricted vehicles in. Sort of. Because some maps don't have planes, but they won't have only these planes.
It's interesting because some people like that and other people don't. And if you saw, I talked to Andrew Galata in one of the interviews at Gamescom, and I don't think it made the cut of the video, but he said, it's interesting because you can kind of balance a map specifically for one vehicle. And so with Tsaritzin, that's what they did. They balanced that map specifically for the Mark V tank, which historically, there were actual tanks at the Battle of Tsaritzin, one in particular that did some really cool stuff, and that's why it's featured in there. But a lot of people are like, well, you shouldn't restrict my choice to be able to do this or that. And I'm one of the people that I kind of look at it like those assignments where it's like, oh, you're forcing me to use things I wouldn't normally use. Like in the Mark V tank is one of those. Everybody always picks like the light tank or the A7B because it's like they get the big gun, they're in control, they can camp wherever they want to camp in that vehicle, but it's interesting that they went that route. But yeah, Echo, you're totally right. I think that is the first one where they restricted what you're able to do there. At the same point, like, I'm totally fine with it. Like, I think it makes it more predictable in some ways. And if it's more historically accurate, I think it's okay if Battlefield does that.
I feel like the new tank car thing, right? Whatever the Russians had.
The Putilov Garford.
Right.
Can you say that again?
Putilov Garford.
Yeah. That's what I said.
Yeah,
That's exactly what I said. I don't know
Garford.
what it's talking about. I said exactly that. Right. I just feel like it's a crappy car, right? It's kind of crappy.
It's so weird.
Yeah,
it's
so
like
if
you
you
don't
put
know
it-
if it's coming or going.
Yeah, if you put it on an actual battlefield against like the heavy tank and stuff, it'd get ripped to shreds.
Yeah, and that's probably a good reason why it's only available by itself, right?
Yeah. Can you take that car on just like the Saint Chamond on regular maps?
I believe you can. I
But nobody
haven't done it
does.
yet, but I believe you can. But that's the vanilla maps, right? I think
Yeah.
they were kind of saying, well, let's balance these maps for this, and with the other maps, we'll just kind of let them go have fun and use their vehicles they paid for, right?
That's
at the same point,
that
like,
was
I
the
don't
first
mind
time
that
they ever done that, by the way.
I-
DICE has never done that in previous Battlefields. Battlefield 1's the first time they let you take paid for vehicles and bring them to base game maps.
Yeah.
Which I like that. I thought that was a cool move.
I thought so too.
Agreed.
Because now you can use the super heavy bomber thing, right? On any map.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that in Multigraph. I was like, that was, it was at first a little jarring. I was like, but that's pretty cool. Makes the map feel a little different.
I like that you can rep it from the inside.
Yeah.
it's and let's be honest here, like, it's also a way to introduce things to people who don't have premium.
They
So
say
they can be
I
like,
want
look
that.
at that, I want that, let me go buy that.
It's a good
You know, like,
marketing ploy.
yeah, it's a marketing tool.
Surprising they haven't done it before. I'd like to see levitating, tanks in BF4 base. That would not have happened. But the motorcycles would have been cool. China Rising had motorcycles?
It did, but other maps had motorcycles.
I don't think
No,
so.
I don't remember.
Was it
them.
only
not.
DLC maps?
Only
Yeah.
China Rising.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's what
pretty
the ones
sure.
had quad bikes.
Yep. They developed these things this way. Very interesting. I think we have another question before we close off the podcast. I think we have time for one more, and we're gonna select Slayer66 says at crew. I don't know how is console, but PC is unplayable last 6 days since update. Servers are lagging as heck. What is your opinion on DICE taking so long to fix the issues?
I think I can chime in on that from the PC side.
Yeah, let's hear
Actually,
the PC side
because
first.
of all the tracking of all the assignments, whenever you are in operations and there's a cluster of people, the kill feed will lag completely. It's very odd. It's a weird thing. I think it has to do with all the tracking they implemented, and I actually believe this is why they didn't implement it sooner. That literally, when there's too many people and everyone's got too much tracking, the kill feed will stop, and if you die, it'll take maybe about 5 seconds before it catches up. EU servers are almost unplayable right now. US are okay, but EU is really struggling to even have people connecting. I've had a lot of EU guys just cop over to East Coast just to have a decent experience right now. So that's kind of odd that it hasn't been mentioned. I know console guys, you guys haven't seen that, but for PC, it's a little rough right now.
Yeah, I've been getting a lot of comments about that. They're like, when is DICE going to fix the lag? You know, I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, I haven't noticed it. I did see something the other day. I think one of the BF devs said that they're officially trying, like they're looking into the places that host the servers, trying to figure out if it's something on that end, what's going on with it. But it's interesting.
Yeah, I'm gonna echo the same thing. I don't see a problem on console, but I remember the first day when the update came out, I did see that you would kill someone, and then later you'd get the whole feed that you just killed them, and it was like very delayed. But I was just on day one.
It was doing that on the CTE for a while, on PC CTE. It was doing exactly that, where you'd kill a guy and then you're like, is he dead? And then like 3 seconds later, it would pop up on your screen. Oh yeah, you killed this person. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's strictly
That's
PC.
weird.
I've actually posted on Reddit and gave them hopefully DICE information. It's like, this is how it happens. Cluster of people all tracking some sort of assignment. We're like, what causes it? Happens in operations. It happens in every spot, every single time. The bigger maps and the older maps are more open when people are separated, living in their own buckets. No issue. But when you got them all clustered in one spot, you got the delay. It's pretty rough.
Huh.
We'll see what they do. Hopefully, I mean, like I said, I posted on Reddit.
I
Hopefully,
didn't even
we'll
know
see
that was
some.
an issue. Hopefully that gets fixed soon, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Like
it
Sly
was
said in chat,
Izzy.
6 days.
It feels like remember when Hardline first came out and you had the shotgun, you would kill the
Yes.
guy, and then it'd be like really later he dies, and then you're like, and then the sound comes later, and you're like, okay, that's what it feels like.
That's a good description.
Yeah, you guys remember that, right? The shotgun
You're
in
kind of
Hardline.
puzzled about it, yeah.
Yeah, it literally you would see the guy get killed, and then you would see him die, and then the sound would come, and you're just like, how did this shotgun work?
It predicts the future.
Yeah, it points at you and it says you have died in the future, and you're like, what? Yes, you're right, I died. Oh man, but I think that's it for us. Thank you so much for the awesome questions and comments and everything that you guys do. It is awesome having this podcast, especially with all the people who make it happen. The featured guests each time, Izzy, Flakfire. Of course, Mambo is not here today. He's battling a hurricane out there. Go to his Twitter. He posted like an insane picture. Like his tree was just like this, you know?
I was
I
gonna
saw
look at
that.
it. I thought he evacuated.
He
to a
did,
bit-
but then he
bit a
went
ways
back.
away.
It was like a whole thing about, because, you know, apparently it was supposed to hit Miami hard. But
Oh, and then it went a
left.
little bit left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's like,
Like
nah,
bounced off Cuba.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and then we also had our special guest, Daz. It was awesome talking to you, Daz, especially getting a PC perspective into this podcast. We don't normally have that here. That being said, we're going to do quick sign-offs, and I'll say a few little things at the end, just so you know. So, gentlemen, let's give them the sign-offs. If you're not here on this podcast live recording, where can we find you, Izzy?
Guys, as always, it's been awesome. If you want to check out my channel, it's youtube.com/IzzyGoingCrazy. Thanks for watching.
Flakfire, where can they find you?
Yeah. If you guys want to catch a stream sometime, the rare time that I do it, twitch.tv/Flakfire. And then if you want to check out some Incursions footage or want to kind of explain to you in 15 minutes, youtube.com/Flakfire Gaming.
Awesome. I do recommend those videos. Daz, where can these guys find you?
Yeah, Daz here. You can find me at www.twitch.tv/Daz. Appreciate you guys having me on as a guest, and this was a lot of fun. Appreciate it, guys.
Awesome. And obviously I'm Echo Limits. You can find me on twitch.tv/EKOLIMITS. It was awesome having you guys in here. In 2 weeks time, who knows what's gonna happen. It's crazy how Battlefield news changes so fast. We might even have incursion impressions. We might have like a update with the whole gun patch we haven't talked about almost at all, but there's a major rebalancing of how guns behave. So that's exciting. Thank you all for tuning in. And with that, I'm going to say we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Thanks for watching.